What's good, y'all? What's good, everybody? It's been a while since I went live. Um, so everybody has been complaining about the rates and complaining about finding a dispatcher and I don't know, it's like a lot of owner operators have been complaining and I'm sick and tired of seeing you guys cry every day. So I'm going to have a dispatcher join my live and talk to you guys about his company, which is called White Glove Trucking Services. So you guys can get more information and he can help y'all out and um, tell you guys about his company. And I think this should be pretty interesting because this is going to be the first dispatcher um, that I had go live on my platform. So I think that would be dope. So I'm going to add him on here. Hold on a minute. His name is D'Angelo. Okay. All up to today. Y'all trying to get this knowledge? What's good?
Hey, how you doing? How everybody doing out there?
I'm doing good. So look, I was just telling them they be crying and stuff about the rates and all these dispatchers and they trying to find a good dispatcher and all this type of stuff. So I'm like, let me have him come on live and get them some knowledge because they want to know what you got going on.
Well, first, some of the horror stories that's going around with the dispatchers is a lot of people are posing as dispatchers, and they're in India, and
Oh.
yeah, and they don't know the U.S. map, so it's impossible for them to dispatch.
Mhm.
It's impossible for them to do it properly.
Mhm.
And you get some carriers out there that they have bad experiences with dispatchers, but a dispatcher's job is really to work for you and make your life easier. It eliminates it eliminates as many driver check calls with the broker, because that gets annoying with the broker calling you all day. Where how long you gonna be for this load?
That's
When you gonna
annoying.
get here? It's
Mhm.
super duper annoying.
Mhm.
And some of the dispatch some of us dispatchers, we have, you know, relationships with certain brokers that kind of put stuff on the we get it on before it even gets to the load board. We'll have loads, so we'll have some of us have a little bit earlier access to certain loads, and it also gives you time to just drive and not have to worry about your paperwork.
Mhm.
That's some of the major benefits of having a dispatcher. And for me, I'm 26 years in the trucking industry. I done seen its highs, I done seen its lows. Right
Mhm.
now, we're at we're at a pretty low point right now.
Mhm.
The rates are in the toilet, and and normally the last week of March, first week of April is when we see that upward spiral of the rates going up.
Mhm.
But this year is kind of different because to be honest, we got during the pandemic, we got a lot of people in the trucking we got a lot of people in the trucking business that came in this game and thinking it was a quick hustle,
Mhm.
and and those companies have to be weeded out, and they're not going to be around for the long term, and this is just the industry resetting itself. And David Robinson just asked the question, have you ever seen it this low before? In my 26 years, I have never, ever seen it this low for this long of a period of time.
Mhm.
But we've also never had this many carriers on the road,
Mhm.
because everybody took the PPP loan and all that, and they went and bought a truck.
Yeah.
And then we have some that went and bought box trucks.
Mhm.
Now, currently what's happening is shippers are chopping loads up and they're putting them on box trucks, They'll use 3 box trucks rather than put it on a 53-foot dry van and get it at a cheaper rate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're fighting against right now. That's what's in front of us that we're struggling with. And honestly, it's just going to take for the system to reset itself. And companies, the circle of trucking is rates go up, we buy trucks, rates go down, people go out of business, then rates go back up.
Right.
That's the circle. That's the natural circle of trucking. And if you can weather the storm and be in this for the long run, it's a good field to be in. But if you're in it for a quick money grab, it's not for you.
Mm-hmm.
Courtney Chapman, if you have your hazmat and tankers, I would say go that route. Chizo Band Up, I can get my CDL like ASAP. Can anyone help me with that? Well, you got to go to school to get your CDL. You way behind where we at right now. We kind of already on the carriers, but I'm sure you can find a lot of information on how you go about getting your CDL.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about, okay, so I know a lot of people, they inbox me and they want to become a dispatcher.
Mm-hmm.
So how do they start with that? Because it's a lot of people that offer like courses and stuff, and I don't have information about it. So how would they start?
Well, I mean, you have to have a lot of knowledge. Like I would suggest if someone wants to get started dispatching that they have some type of experience in this industry, because you have to know the lanes. You have to know the dead zones on where not to go. Like I preferably never send any driver northeast or northwest because it's dead. In Seattle, you go to Seattle, you're not getting a load coming back out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, you kind of have to work smart. You go where the money at. You don't.
Okay.
And sometimes you'll get drivers will see a big number on the board and they'll say, "Oh, I'm going to take this load for $7,000," but when you get out there, there's nothing coming out of there. So that wasn't the smartest thing to do.
Right. So
that's not the smartest thing to do.
So what does your company provide?
We provide route planning, and we provide keeping you rolling. And speaking of that, David Robinson just asked the question: how can you keep a fresh authority of 30 days moving? That's one of the hardest things to do with the fresh DOT numbers. It can be done, but it's the hardest thing to do. We do work with fresh authorities, because there are companies that work with fresh authorities, but you just won't, for the first 90 days, you kind of won't get the best of the lows. But I'm not saying that to deter you, because we definitely can keep you rolling.
Mm-hmm.
But you won't have the access to some of the better brokers. You'll be with the TQLs, the CH Robinsons, the Coyotes. Hey, we got one on.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What's going on, big fella?
Oh, ain't shit, man. Just chilling, just listening. And y'all go ahead.
But yeah,
I gotta get right real quick. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So with the new authorities, you just wouldn't have access to some of the best paying lows and the more strict brokers. But you could be rolling on a 30-day authority.
Mm-hmm. So I know you said like a lot of people, they want to jump in and become a dispatcher. They want to jump in and just get their own truck. But you saying that you need to have knowledge before you do anything. Because a lot of people, it's like they rush into it. You know what I mean? And it's just like they ask me all the time, like, what do I think? So what do you think?
Well,
like basically they need to.
I'm not to interrupt you guys, but I think they're asking the question of how can they get into it, just the whole deal, without being a truck driver. I think they want to get into it.
You definitely definitely could get in without being a truck driver. I mean, but having trucking experience gives you a little bit extra knowledge in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that you have more studying to do if you don't have any trucking experience. Because of being a trucker, like I touched on it earlier, that I know the lanes, I know the maps. You know what I'm saying? I know the hot spots, I know the dead zones, and in order to be a good dispatcher, you have to know that. Or you're gonna send your driver, you're gonna send him somewhere, and it's just gonna be useless. You send him on an Indian reservation, like he's gonna have to deadhead 500 miles before he can pick up another load. That's wasting fuel, time, and everything else. Because as an owner operator, that is your biggest overhead is fuel. So you gotta micromanage that.
So how you do it? You do 80-40, 80-40, 20-10?
What do you mean?
The highways, 80-40, 20-10.
Them hot spots.
Yeah. 75, not good. 75, I guess stay above South Georgia. 95, not really a hot spot, but you can grab something. So I guess you want to say 35 and back east?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have, some dispatchers have, they have better luck than me. Like I'm a transparent person. I'm not a magician. So I'm not going to tell a driver something that I can't come through on. So I don't send my drivers northeast, northwest, or Florida. And I'm starting to not go to I'm starting not to send them to California.
Yeah. Oh, that's where I'm headed to, actually.
Yes.
That's where I'm about to go now, actually.
David Robinson with the Fresh Authority, I highly recommend you do OTR. It opens up more money for you, more opportunity until you get some time on your authority. You definitely should go for OTR.
I think somebody else wants to join. Let me see. Okay, I'm adding someone else.
Tony, why your phone filtered like that? You look like Dora the Explorer.
Shut up. Look, I got my afro.
I see what you're doing. Leave me alone.
Okay, let's see. I think somebody.
Rich, I see you coming that you're dealing with a dispatcher like that right now. Had you in the wrong place. That's what we on this live for. Hit me up. I'll get you right.
And how do they contact you?
815-261-1510. Again, that's 815-261-1510.
Put it up, Tanya.
Or White Glove Trucking Services at Gmail.
Say 815. You say
815.
Hold on. 815.
261.
261.
1510.
1510. All right. 1510.
Yes, sir.
All right. Boom. I need to get that myself because I done got back into the owner operator thing.
How long you been driving?
I've been driving 6 years.
You a vet.
Yeah, I work for a company. I had a year to pay off my truck. Then the motor went out. We just start going through that whole thing where the market wasn't real good.
Yeah.
So it made more sense to go company rather than stay with the owner operator thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It definitely be like that because a lot of people are parking their trucks right now, but some people
Yeah,
don't have the option to park their truck.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, some people don't have the option to park their truck. I got a buddy that parked his truck 2 months ago, and he's driving for Dunkin' Donuts until this picks back up, and I totally understand.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I wasn't mad about it. Old head told me. One time before, he put it in perspective. He say, bruh, you don't never need to try to own a truck. He say, even when you go to get your own truck, your own authority, you need to be leasing that truck. He say, lease that truck because you can always turn that truck in and get another truck. He say, it's a machine. He say, they always gonna tear up. So
Always.
if you lease the truck, you ain't got the overhead.
Yeah, but leasing the truck is a get over. How y'all doing?
Yeah.
First of all, how y'all doing?
We can't
Hey,
see
that's
pretty
you.
good.
I can't see you.
You can't what? Oh, that's because I was driving with no shirt on, so I didn't want to, I ain't know. I'm in Florida. I'm coming out of Florida. You heard? It's hot as a mug out here. You heard?
Yeah, what about
I got the AC thumping and the shirt off. You heard? I got to be
It
feeling
gotta
good when I'm riding, driver.
it touching about 98 down there right now.
Yeah, right now it's 93.
Yep.
It's
Wait,
93
we
where
got
I'm at right now.
some people in the comments that have questions.
Sure, let's see what we got.
There's a lot of them.
But what I was about to say about the lease, I heard I was told to stay away from the leases because when you in a lease, you end up paying for that person's truck 2-3 times. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
You if you get your own truck versus a lease, you pay your own truck off and it's yours.
All right.
But you
Peep
in that
game.
lease, as long as you in that lease, you paying for somebody else's truck. And not only are you paying for it, you done bought it 2-3 times.
Well, let me tell you. First of all, we worry about somebody else's money.
Exactly.
What they making
Yeah.
what they making is what they making is what they making. So this what it go. All right, I just came from a company job, right? And I was making 12 to 1,500 a week, right? When I lease a truck, one load paid me $1,500, and I get 80% of that load. So I don't care what I'm paying them to lease their truck. You got to pay to play no matter what, because after a while, as you get older, I mean, I don't want to be owning too many trucks anyway. If I got 1 or 2 trucks, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have a fleet because that's overhead.
Right.
Reality is I'm using trucking to get into real estate. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Or just something that's always a revolving door.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Trucking is one of them things where they trying to get rid of. They trying to come up with the electronic trucks and all that stuff right there. So one day that may happen. You have to be prepared for that. Don't worry. So when you lease, don't worry about the other man's pocket. That's his pocket.
Right.
It ain't about what you make, it's about what you spend. Because you can go buy your own truck, but let's say a transmission go out, let's say a motor go out on your own truck. You're gonna be out of $40,000-$50,000.
This is true. That's
true. That's why you get something that's certified. You don't gotta worry about that stuff.
Nah, bro. Look, bro. Ain't no way.
It's always breakdowns, baby.
Bro, it ain't no way around that, bro. Brand new truck breakdown.
And
what you talking about is big wear and tears that happen to trucks after a while. By the time some shit like that happened to a truck, bro, you done bought the truck already. It's yours.
But you can always go unless let's say, because everybody ain't got that business mind frame. Everybody ain't got that business mind frame. A lot of us, when we making big money, we spending big money. So let's say you got that mind frame. You say you don't went and bought a truck. You don't want to put money and you bought your own truck. And let's say you ain't handling your money right. It don't matter about the warranty. You gonna have to spend some money no matter what.
Yeah,
the warranty,
you're right.
The warranty ain't gonna cover everything on your truck.
You right about that. But if you getting 100% of your shit versus 80% or 70%, you got it, bro. What are you talking about right now?
You're never gonna get 100%. You're never gonna get 100%.
Well, I ain't just talking. I ain't
if
just
you are the
talking.
company, if you are the owner of the company and the driver, bro, you getting everything, bro. The only thing you gotta dish out is whatever you giving that little 5% to the broker or 10% to the broker, and and what else, bro?
That,
It's more.
Fuel and all that shit.
It's
It
that
more
all
than
that's
that.
not
fuck
100%.
it,
That's not
and
100%. If you
Yeah. It's
it's
you
all
give it
coming in
10%,
fuel.
if you giving 10% to the broker, that's not 100%. And then also you you you
See,
have
but if
you
you
have
was
overhead.
see, but that's the whole thing. You don't even need to have a broker. You can take that 5%, that 5 or 10% back. I'm just talking about people that don't have brokers.
So let me let
no,
me
my dog.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. I've been seeing angry drivers throw that around a lot that we don't need the brokers. We don't need
You don't,
we
bro.
don't need the brokers.
You
So
don't need the brokers, bro.
so
You can broker your own
so
loads, man. You
but
don't need no broker, bro. A
do
broker
you
ain't
have
nothing but a
time?
middleman.
Do you have do you have time to broker your own
Hell yeah,
loads?
you got time, bro. You get a 10-hour break every fucking day. How you don't got time?
When these especially in a time like this, you ain't got time for that. Your 10-hour
Bro,
break
you
is at
got a
your 10.
10-hour break every day. Not only that, brokering is that ain't nothing but a fucking tablet, Wi-Fi, and you can do that while you
All right.
driving, bro. Come on, bro.
All right. All right.
So
Hold on, bro.
how are you to how are you? Because I'm a broker. I own a trucking company, a freight brokerage, and a dispatcher.
Yeah.
So I hit the trucking industry from all three angles. So
Yeah.
it'll be nothing you'll be able to tell me that I haven't
Well,
experienced.
let me explain it.
So,
Let me
but you know
explain it.
what I'm talking about makes
You
sense
as
though.
you as your own broker, they not gonna work with you because you have no credentials. You have to have insurance as a broker. You have
A
to have it's
surety
all
bond.
type of stuff. Yeah, you have to have
I'm
all type of
talking
stuff
about
to back you. You're not gonna be totally independent because you're gonna be running around here running shit loads, and you're not gonna be able to make enough money to cover what you need to cover. You know what I mean? That's just bottom line. You could go out here and go on your own, but you're not gonna make it. I've been
y'all
doing this shit.
scaring people. Y'all scaring people
Nah,
from
bro,
coming out here making it. Get
I've been doing this for
No.
6 years, bro.
And I'm
Through
and, I,
both
and I'm
boys.
26 years in.
Yeah. So
So
so I'm
I want to ask you
coming out here
a
doing it.
question. What do you think what's a broker's job description? What does a broker do?
A broker is just a middleman. Oh no, the
Between who?
broker. I
Between
thought you
who?
talking about a dispatcher.
No,
No, I
a
thought you talking
broker.
about a dispatcher. You talking
A
about a broker.
broker.
You talking about a broker.
What does a
Okay, the broker
broker
is
do?
the broker is the broker, the big man. The broker,
I wouldn't
the
say
big
he's
man in the industry.
no, he's not.
Who the big man in the industry then?
There
If
is
it ain't
no
the broker,
there is
the
no
broker is the one who in charge of is the one who's putting everything together.
so
Is he not?
is it gonna be feasible for a company to handle 100 drivers trying to call them or dealing with one or two brokers?
Say that again.
Okay, you got a company and you're trying to ship your goods out. Do you want to talk to 100 drivers calling you, or you rather have two to three brokers that handle all that?
Bro, are we talking about a big company or are we talking about
It's
somebody just going out owning and
really,
operating their own
really
truck? Because a while ago, y'all was talking about people getting their own truck, leasing on own truck. That's not no big company. That's just one
nah,
fucking truck.
cause we having the conversation about, yeah, you could do your own thing, and I'm not saying you can't be successful,
me
but in
neither.
this industry, it's highly unlikely.
It is. Because you said
No,
you
bro,
could
you
broker
was
your
saying
own
that
loads.
you was saying that it was
Able to
better to lease than to get your own truck. Is what you was saying,
well
and I was saying,
everybody's business model works for them.
Mhm.
So it may be beneficial for him to lease a truck, lease to own, and it may be beneficial for you to purchase. So everybody's business model can vary.
Right.
But as far as brokering, buddy, you have to be able to formulate relationships with the shipper, and you can't do that from your truck.
but the question wasn't about him individually. The
No.
question was,
But I'm just touching on what you said that you could broker for yourself from your truck.
bro,
That's what
you
I'm. That's
can't.
what I'm saying. How can you form a relationship with a shipper?
I know people that own trucks. My homegirl for one stay in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm about to go meet up with her in 21 minutes. I'm 21 minutes away from her, bro.
Oh,
She's a
okay.
broker. She broker her own shit. She dispatch her own shit. And she drive and got 3 other drivers in 3 of her other trucks, bro. And she started with 1 truck, bro.
She is an established person in the game. That's what I'm saying. We're talking a bit about the difference between getting established in it and just starting out in it.
Right. Right.
Don't tell people that it's better to lease when you know that it's not.
Okay.
It might be good in your situation, but all in all, you know that it's not better to lease when you're literally buying.
Well, I'm not gonna do what I'm trying to tell you is this about leasing. I'm not saying I guess you may be thinking I'm talking about leasing from a company, right? I'm talking about I'm talking about me myself going to Freightliner, KW, et cetera, and leasing a truck instead of buying a truck.
I apologize, bro. I apologize. Cause I thought
you think I'm saying
about leasing from these big ass companies out here.
No. The company, I mean, it depends on where you go. Depends on where you go. You could get a good lease from some of these people. All of them ain't bad, right? Because you can make money.
I misunderstood, bro. That was my fault.
But I'm talking about actually going to Freightliner and these guys actually leasing an 18-wheeler. That way, when the 18-wheeler hit 500,000 miles, it ain't no problem for me to go swap that 18-wheeler out.
See, but a lot of people ain't got the credit to do that, bro.
I mean, it's all a work in progress, man. It ain't like Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, you right.
Yeah, it's all trucking.
That'd be another thing that scare people away too. They credit.
Yeah, you know that game there. I mean, cash still rule.
But it'd be a lot of grants out here where you really don't even have to worry about credit. But a lot of people don't know about these grants.
Yeah, loopholes. Like my man right here, my broker. What's your name, Mr. Broker?
D'Angelo.
D'Angelo. Like him.
I got my dispatcher going right now.
And Mr. D'Angelo has the gateway to what you talk about.
Lease from Mercedes and get a new car every 4 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's crazy.
And that's his choice. Like, you know what I'm saying? That may work for him, but it don't work for me. That wouldn't work for me because I don't want to pay somebody $900 a month for 52 years.
Yeah.
And that's what I agree with you on right there, old school. That's what I was talking about right there.
But it may be beneficial for others. You know, you don't know what someone else's goals are.
The difference is he ain't driving merchandise up and down the road with that Mercedes.
Yeah.
You know, that Mercedes ain't accumulating. It can't accumulate you maybe $30,000-$40,000 a month.
Right.
Oh, he not pulling from Mercedes, pulling for the cars, and they give him a car. He talking
about you could lease vehicles, right? You can lease a vehicle.
No matter leasing a car. Oh man, no, I thought he was talking about he pulled the cars for Mercedes.
No.
Hey, look. That's what I thought he was saying.
It's the same concept. It's the same concept. You're doing it with an 18-wheeler, but you always got a turnover, and you always got a new truck. You always got a new truck. You got a new truck. Your truck staying moving. You staying in business.
10
You feel?
Versus if you buy a truck, you stuck with that truck.
You stuck with that truck.
I get what you saying.
Yeah. That what old head sat me down and talked to me about that. He like, man, don't ever buy no truck. He say, you lease that truck, let them worry about all that wear and tear, and you keep it pushing.
Right. And here's another business model that I want to throw out there. I think that owner operators should they should consider.
What's that?
Because you know I kind of dabbled in it. Now, when you look at companies, I'm gonna use 2 companies for example. I'm gonna use Amazon and I'm gonna use Uber.
Mm-hmm.
And what do those 2 have in common? What they have in common is they generate a lot of income, and they don't own anything.
They
don't own anything. They selling us other people's shit. Excuse my language. Now, how I correlate that with the trucking industry is the days of owning a fleet of trucks are behind us. If you looking to move toward the future and be successful in the trucking industry, owning a fleet of trucks is too much overhead. You don't want that. You could just easily have owner operators leased on to your trucking company, take your percentage.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about the repairs. You don't have to worry about the diesel. All you have to do is just get them loads and get your percentage and make your money.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm at home. That's what I do.
Yep.
Yo, old school.
We both old
school.
dog.
That's a freaking gold mine. You heard?
Yeah, that's the game. Everything
hey,
in percentage.
Hey, old school, you just kick some shit out there, old school.
Right. I'm gonna let Javon join because he wants to join a live. Since y'all cleared up everything.
Okay.
You got something else to ask?
I'm out of. Can I add the old school right here? How can I add y'all up here?
Facebook.
Like add y'all on the Facebook. Cause it don't show who y'all. It don't show y'all name.
I tagged them in there. Yeah, I tagged them in there. I just made a post too recently, just a couple minutes ago with his information.
Okay, bet. So I can just go
Pretty
to
good, man.
Facebook and get it.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Hey,
thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I ain't got no money, my dude.
Add me.
I ain't got no money, man.
That's what I'm about to tell you. I'm about to add you, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'll see you later, man.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all take it easy.
All right, you two be safe. I'm gonna add the next. I don't see him on here no more. Here you go. All right, somebody else wanted to come on here and say some stuff.
I think I'm on. Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
Hey,
bro.
Y'all done cleared up everything. I was just trying to type and keep up because it was a lot going on. I understood what the gentleman was saying about leasing. The other guy was kind of confused about leasing with the companies and leasing from the major carriers. But like he was saying, everybody's situation is different.
Mm-hmm.
I lease my equipment from a dealership, and I run an account. I have a dedicated account with Toyota out of San Antonio. So I run loads out of San Antonio Monday through Friday. And I don't work on Saturday and Sunday. And I don't have to run around and run 6,000 miles a week and all that
pack
stuff.
of Black and Miles.
And still do good leasing. But I lease my equipment. So if I go down, if the equipment go down, with the way the lease is set up, you can get a replacement truck while it's being serviced. It just works out better for me with maintenance wise. But the average lease with these major carriers is not good. But there are some good ones. But you can make it if you have the credit to lease. That's a lot of companies actually do that themselves. They lease trucks from Ryder, they lease trucks from Penske, and you can do the same thing as an individual. You can lease a truck from Ryder or Penske and take it to a carrier and do whatever you can. But like the young gentleman was saying, it's not that easy to just go out and broker your own loads. It don't work like that. You got to have a certain amount of insurance. You have to have a customer base. You have to have a certain score. MC, you just can't go out and broker your own loads. So I just wanted to kind of clear that up. It don't work like that.
So it takes training. It's not just that simple.
Right.
You have to build those relationships, because what most people in trucking don't realize is trucking is strictly about building relationships.
Right.
It's about building relationships. The more relationships you have, the more opportunity you have to earn.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so you'll never get 100% of anything in trucking. You're always gonna be splitting your commissions with something. Now, what some people do, or what he might have been trying to say, is he might want to try to dispatch his own stuff and cut out the dispatcher. But as far as the broker is just the agent who is the connect from the carrier to the with the customer to the carrier. And like somebody else said, they said it perfectly. I mean, you want to talk to 200 drivers a day, or you want to talk to a couple, brokers. And so dispatch services, sometimes they have the upper hand. I've done it all. I've brokered. I tried brokering for a little while. It was a bit much for me, to be honest. There's money to be made, but it was a bit much to keep up with all that. And one of the ways to be successful in dispatching and or broker, if you're going to be successful as a dispatcher to getting started, you want to get a good relationship with brokers that got good connections with actual direct customer freight. And so what you want to do as a dispatcher is develop a relationship with the brokers to where you get the offers, because I had a couple of relationships where I got emails of the loads before they got posted on the load board. So you get first glance. So that's how you're successful as a dispatcher, because once they post them loads on the load board, then you got a lot of other stuff that happens that people don't know about. Like you have what they call double brokering. You have people, they'll go and grab those loads and then they'll have a different name and then they'll post them under a different name and they try to double broker the loads. So they have a lot of that, underhanded stuff like that going on. But if you want to be successful as a dispatcher, you have to get a relationship with brokers where you can get the loads emailed to you and you can have them before they post them. If you want to be a broker, that's a whole nother ball game. Then you got to go and develop relationships with the actual customers. You got to go to Tyson and you got to talk to their sales department and you got to pitch yourself. And that's very hard to do at a low level, coming in off the ground with one truck. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, it's definitely impossible. You have to build those relationships.
Absolutely.
That's point blank, period. And that's some of the value that my dispatch services bring. We've made those relationships for you.
Right. So definitely successful. So the people that wanted to know about how to start a dispatch service, well, you do your legwork first of all, and you create your name and you get your tax ID number. You do all the basic stuff to get started, get your bank account, and then you need to start building relationships with solid brokers that will give you loads or give you a heads up on loads and will send them to you prior to them posting them to the load board. Because once them loads hit the load board, yeah, you can still find some good ones every now and then. But I actually, years ago when I first got started in the brokering, I worked for a company. I didn't know any better at the time because I had just wanted to come off the road. We would, that's what we did. We made our money double brokering. So I knew it was a thing. We would go out and we didn't have. That's how they did. I didn't know any better at the time. So we would get on the load board. We would buy the loads, and they do it a little bit different now because they, it's been a scam. So that's why when you get a load now, the brokers want the driver's number. They want to call them. They want to put tracking on the phone. Because back when I started doing it, we could just make up a truck and make up a name because you got to have that to book the load. So you would get the load, grab it, send a carrier's package over if you weren't a registered carrier, complete the carrier's package, make up a driver name, make up a phone number, and you got the load. And then you would repost the load on the board and try to sell it to make a profit. They call that double brokering, meaning you bought the load under the pretenses that you were going to haul it, but really you're just reposting it to try to sell it at a lower rate to make another profit off of it. And so that's why in this day and time, these brokers are so adamant, they're so annoying, and they call you and they want to put tracking on your phone and they want to, do all this other stuff because they're trying to cut back on double brokering because the rates are already bad. The last thing you need to do is have to deal with double brokering. So
yeah.
And a lot of major companies double broke. Super Ego is one.
Okay.
Super Ego,
Landstar,
all of them they double broker. They're never going to send you original rate con. They gonna get the load for $2,500 and then they're gonna send their driver an email with the load and tell them to pay $21. So they're gonna take the $400 off the top. It's just a scam. And so when you have a good relationship with a broker like you, who has those relationships, you kind of can weed out that stuff, and you can be better off. And it's definitely necessary to know the lanes and to know where not to go. I happen to live in Florida, so for me, I go through this every time until I got on this account. But every time I would come home or bring my truck home, I might get a decent load into Florida, but I'm gonna have to dig in to Georgia.
Man,
South
I got
Carolina.
one for 400 leaving Ocala to get me back to Atlanta when I do this Tampa run. Just to get me back, man. It's terrible, man. TQL. I'm tired of TQL.
Now, this time time of year is watermelon season. So watermelons typically pay good coming out of Florida. If you can get with a broker that got watermelon. Now watermelons, you can usually get, even with the rates being bad, you can usually get $3 or better a mile, and you can put them on a vented van or a reefer. So this time of year when there's watermelon season, not so bad, but everybody trying to haul watermelons out of Florida right now. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm.
yeah, it's tough.
That's crazy.
So I got to get with Toyota. I'm happy with that, you know, for right now. Yeah. You know, it saves me a lot because when I was doing it the other way, you know, I'm having to run around, run everywhere to go to California. But I had to run to California. I was running auto parts from South Carolina to California and back. And, you know, doing had to have another driver because in order to run the account, you had to have teams. So doing 6,500 miles a week. And, you know, I'm doing better now, only running 5,000 miles a week and not having to work on Saturday and Sunday, running from Toyota. So, I mean, it was just God, really. I just thank God for that account. But, you know, it's possible to happen. And I lease equipment. I didn't go buy one. I lease it from a dealership. So that works for me.
Yeah, that's the next move for me. I'm leasing my next truck, man. Cause man,
I leased my car because I used to have an S-Class. I had a S550, and one of the shocks went out, and it was $5,000 to fix one, and it was $5,000 to fix another one. And I'm like, oh my God. So, you know, I wanted to drive a Mercedes because this is what I like. So I said, you know what? They're high maintenance. So what I'm gonna do if I want to drive Mercedes, I'll lease. So I lease my car from Mercedes, so I don't have to worry about maintenance on that. You know, I just get a new one every time. Somebody said that was crazy, but that might
yeah,
be crazy.
smart move.
But for me,
Smart move.
it works because every time the car breaks, it's $6,000.
Everything is circumstantial. You know what I'm saying? What works for one may not work for another, and that's how you get into these debates trucking because the market being fluctuating up and down. Like you have drivers saying, all you do stop hauling cheap freight. Stop hauling cheap freight. But what's cheap to me may not be cheap to you.
Cheap.
You know
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm learning.
Somebody say 5,000 miles a week. Let me just clear this up real quick. Yes, it's 5,000 miles a week because Toyota, this account that I run, it requires a team. So that's 5,000 miles a week per the truck because I have to have a driver to run it with me with a team, which is low miles for a team. 5,000 miles a week for a team is very low. And it's very easy. So yes. So let me just clear that up. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, but some they don't have a high overhead. If my truck is paid off and yours is not, I can afford to take it for a little bit of a cheaper rate than you. And that's how they keep trucking the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's always going to be someone take the load for a certain rate. So that's another thing. Truck drivers have to stop bashing other truck drivers in your business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody has a different situation. Everybody finance charges on their truck or whatever the payments, all that stuff. Everybody has a different situation. Cause I was like that in the beginning. I used to just be like, damn, like what? Like my homeboy always on vacation. Boy, he always going to Vegas. Boy, he partying on, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, but like, you know, like now that I'm slowly starting to have my truck paid off, I understand like once your truck paid off, you can maneuver a little different. You know what I'm saying? You could do a lot of things. You could take that minimum and be all right. You know what I'm saying? Because your truck is paid for and your insurance probably like $1,000 a month versus me starting out in the beginning paying I was paying like $3,000. I'm down to 24. I'm about to get out Progressive. Progressive is hell. But
they're all high right now, man. That's another reason why I lease because that was something that I considered because when you're trying to get insurance, like the rates are so, especially insurance is one of them things where it go by where you live too. The claim percentage of something the way you live. So that like they all high, and that was another factor that went into leasing equipment because all of that's inclusive. When you lease, you know, it's inclusive in the rate that they charge you. I know Ryder rate used to be $800 a week. You can go to Ryder, but they took the deposit from $5,000 to $10,000. So that knocked a lot of people out the game because now if you go to Ryder to lease a truck, you got to put you got to have a $10,000 security deposit, and then it's $800 a week, and then they charge you another 10 cent a mile or something like that.
Damn.
But yeah.
For your insurance, have you ever tried to join OOIDA and get their insurance because you wouldn't be paying that much?
I need some resources cause I know my premium about I think I got about 2 more payments of that 24, and then I need to I need to start looking now
How,
for
how
somebody else
long
because
have
Progressive ain't
you
the
been
move.
driving?
My business I've been in business what 2 years, but I've been driving since what 2008.
If you
You know, but but now that I got my own business, I guess you start over because you MC and you got your own business now. So like they hit you with that high.
Yeah.
yeah, if inbox me and I can get you a much cheaper rate than that. That's crazy.
Yeah, because I told myself for one truck, man. I said, man, this is bogus, man.
Yeah, that's a lot, man. I can get you something cheaper than that. That's
Well,
crazy.
listen, tell I don't know if Tana's still on there, but if you can pin your for the dispatch service, pin your number back up there because it was up there, but it went away. If you can pin it up there, because you know, this account that I'm on, sometimes I have to do other stuff. You know what I'm saying? I need a good dispatch service. So I didn't get it when it was up there the first time, and I don't see it the contact information to use your dispatch services.
Oh,
I've been looking for it.
Yeah,
um,
I don't see your name on here, bro. But if you see mine, put shoot me shoot me an inbox about that insurance. I'm trying to.
Can you type it in there?
Tana,
Can you type your number in there?
yeah, I'll type it in the chat now. But Tana tagged me in the post.
yeah, I tap when
Okay.
y'all get
Oh,
off
okay.
the live, y'all be
Yeah,
able to see. Y'all will
VMC,
be able
yeah.
to see who was all on the live. His information is on there, and I just did a post before, and his flyer is on there. But I'm about to wrap it up. Do you want to mention some other stuff before I wrap it up?
No, just to anybody out there that's looking for a dispatcher that's gonna be transparent with you and not sell you the shit. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up because and please stop paying attention to the ones that's calling from other countries because they screwing up the industry.
Right.
Boy, they got me one time.
Stop
They
taking
got me
their
one time.
phone calls. Stop taking their phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They mean no good.
All right. Well, thank you,
All
Thank
right,
you for
everybody.
adding me,
y'all
Tana.
be
Yep.
careful, man, out there.
All right, everybody.
Tana, what is?
Be safe.
Tana, where
You
you
be safe out
at?
there, Tana.
All right. Thank you.
What side
All
of the
right. I'll see y'all.
All
what
right.
side of the globe you at, Tana?
I'm headed to California.
Oh, damn, you be on the move, boy. Salute to
Hey,
you. All right,
hey,
get
I
at me.
gotta get this money. Okay.
All right.
All right.